So we got a big Transformer Tuesday today. There is a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got two big pre-orders from Hasbro Pulse today, revealing two brand new items, as well as a whole bunch of designer reveals too of three brand new items. So we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to break these down into two separate segments. We'll talk about the pre-orders first and everything that's going on there, and then talk about the brand new revealed items afterwards. All of this is crazy stuff, really exciting, so stay tuned for that for both segments today. Let's jump into it. The Transformer Slag podcast is going to break down everything and make sense of it, and we'll jump into it right now. So what we got today is two pre-orders, two Studio Series pre-orders, one Core Class, one Leader, and a lot of cool stuff. So the Core Class we got here is a Studio Series 86 Core Class Ironhide. Classic example of if they're going to do it, more like just a matter of when are they going to do it. And it was just when we got that Ratchet all those months ago, that Core Class, it was just a matter of time before it was going to get retooled into Ironhide. So we got Ironhide here today, looking real good. 3.5 inches in robot mode, 15 steps to transform, comes with two blasters. MSRP pre-order price $11.99. That'll probably be the retail price afterwards, and ships out from Hasbro Pulse July 1st, 2023, probably when it'll be also available in retail in that bubble. Now the question is, so what's new this time around? Well, when I messed with the original Ratchet mold, I was very happy to see how the light bar that was on the roof of his van mode, of his ambulance van mode, was not a separate piece. It was actually sculpted into the roof, which then, of course, later on makes the back of the robot mode. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's really good then, because that means that when they do the Ironhide, it won't just be a removed piece with a hole. That has been kind of a problem with a lot of Ironhide Ratchet retools that are shared in the mold. You always have the hole where the light bar should have been. So this time around, he has a brand new head sculpt, which is to be expected, and that roof is a brand new tooling completely. So it's nice and smooth, it looks nice, there's no hole where the light bar should have been, and it makes the back of his robot mode, and it's all nice and really good looking. The weapons that he comes with are the exact same guns that come with Ratchet, but that's to be expected because these two figures, both the Ratchet and the Ironhide, they represent when they died in the Autobot shuttle scene in the Transformers 86 movie. And the guns that they held in the animation models of that scene were unique to that scene. There were these little pea shooters that had a unique shape to them, and they were using them to shoot at the Decepticons before they met their untimely demise, sadly. And those guns were unique to them, and Ratchet had two of them in that scene, Ironhide had one, so it's no surprise that Ironhide is also going to be having these guns too. He also comes with two of them, even though in the movie he only was holding one of them. So these figures represent the death of Ironhide and Ratchet, and that stems even more to the background included with Ironhide, which is the exact same background that also came with Ratchet. There's no differences even on the angle or the, I guess we'll call it the centering of it. It's the same shot of the controls of the inside of the cockpit, and again, what happened just before they met their untimely demise. Still looks really good. I really dig small Transformer figures. I like our little microbot, mini-bot kind of stuff. I always have a soft spot for small Transformer stuff. And to get a small little Ironhide and Ratchet, and they look really good, and the fact that they did more tooling than I was expecting, hey, that's good for me. I dig it. Check that one out, up for pre-order right now. The other one that we have here, and this is the big one because it leads to a deeper conversation that we're going to have here today, is the Studio Series 86 Leader Class DInobot Snarl. There's a lot going on here to talk about. Let's dive into it. So again, 8.5 inches in robot mode for height, 31 steps to transform, looking really good. MSRP pre-order right now on Hasbro Pulse, $54.99. And is scheduled to ship out August 1st, 2023, probably around the same bubble for retail. So then, robot mode looks really good. Looks really good, matches the animation model really well. I like how they made his Dino mode head sculpt really nice and stout, really matches how it looked in the movie and in the show, instead of it being a little more elongated like some of the original interpretations of the toy. I really like how it looks. The big discussion here, though, is the choice of weapon. So he comes with a sword this time around, as opposed to a gun like his other Dinobot compatriots. Grimlock came with a gun, and of course also came with Wheelie as an extra accessory. Slug, aka Slag, came with a gun, and of course Daniel in the exosuit. Sludge came with a gun. And now we have Snarl here, and he has a sword. So this leads to something that I've been thinking about for a while now, and we're going to talk about it here today. I think the Takara designers of the Studio Series stuff was basing the toys off of the animation models of these characters. When you look at the animation models, Grimlock has his gun, Slag has his gun, Sludge has his gun, but Snarl has his sword. And then when you look at Swoop, you could say like, oh, well, Swoop doesn't have anything. Actually, Generation 1 Swoop came with 2 little missile launchers that went on his wings that could be detached and be made as guns. So technically, even Swoop in that animation model, in some shape or form, is sporting his projectile weapons, aka his gun, instead of his sword. So I think that they're basing it off of that, and that also is probably going to give us a little bit of an indication of what might be happening in the future if you really look at it in a 3D baseball kind of deeper way. And that's the conversation of Swoop in the future, because we have a listing for Swoop. He's going to be a leader class. And Swoop has been historically smaller than the rest of the Dinobots. So if you're going to be putting Swoop in a leader class box, we might have a Coronation Starscream situation here, where a Voyager class sized figure is put into a leader class box and then padded out with extra stuff. What could be that extra stuff that comes with Swoop per se? Well, let's talk about extra weapons. I think Swoop is going to come with the swords of Grimlock, Slag, and Sludge, and he's going to come with the gun of Snarl. Now, Snarl also came with a gun originally with his original toy, and he had it in some shots in the show. And it's something here where, oh, okay, I could see what they're doing here, because Swoop only has, Swoop only has a sword and his 2 little missile launchers. If you take away the gun from Snarl and then you include it with Swoop as an accessory pack, then Swoop will also get to have a gun. So if you buy Swoop in a vacuum, you still have a bunch of swords and a gun. So I think Swoop's going to end up being this really cool accessory pack where all the swords are going to be there and the gun from Snarl. And it's starting all to make sense. But really, when you look at it at the end of the day, it's Takara looking at those animation models and just matching whatever those characters were holding in their hands, or in their wings in one case. So pretty cool stuff otherwise. Other thing I want to cover also is the background that Snarl comes with. So Snarl, his appearances in the 86 movie were blink and you'll miss it, pretty much. He had 3 appearances at best. He appeared right after the attack of the Autobot City when the moon bases were being eaten. Then you see him quickly again when then Galvatron arrives at Autobot City and starts shooting at them. And then you could see him later on when the Quintesson ship is landing on the planet of junk. That's it. Blink and you'll miss it. He's there. So the background that they included with him, though, doesn't represent those. They actually took the scene when the attack on Autobot City first kind of starts, and Perceptor is talking to Ultra Magnus and letting him know the whole situation. The infamous Ultra Magnus, a cursory evaluation of Decepticon capabilities indicate a distinct tactical deficiency. Try saying that 3 times fast. So it kind of represents that shot. Obviously, you take out Perceptor, you take out Ultra Magnus and the crew, and you got that shot there in the background. Doesn't represent Snarl's, few scenes, but I think at the end of the day, do you really want to have a background of that angle of Galvatron shooting at them, or that angle of Snarl and the Autobots with a bland kind of background? Or it's something where I understand why they chose this one, because there really isn't much to pull from in relation to this character. So it works. That's fine. I dig it. But again, Snarl was my first Dinobot as a kid. He's not my favorite Dinobot, but he definitely was the first one as a kid, so I have a soft spot for it. I think it looks great. I'm excited about it. Looks really cool. Let me know what you think. Pretty hype stuff. Again, pre-orders are up right now on Hasbro Pulse, but we still have more to talk about today. So be sure to stay tuned today. Later on the Transformer Slag podcast, we're going to be talking about some other Dinobot related stuff that were revealed today. Some pretty exciting Dinobot related stuff. So stay tuned for that, and we'll break it down, make sense of it, and thank you for listening.